Hello and welcome back to the Overtime Podcast with me, your host Tony Sixwing here at Six Room Productions, and my co-hosts Laura Quinting and Crystal. And today we're going to be talking about Taylor Swift being crazy because apparently a talent manager bought her old record label, and she's pissed because going to a contract she signed when she was younger, this company owns the rights to her music, apparently. And I do think Laura knows more about it than I do. So
Yes. So the as a preface, the talent manager is named Scooter Braun, and that talent manager has had world-renowned clients. One of his biggest clients happens to be Justin Bieber. Right now, he just signed to have Demi Lovato. So he is a talent manager for a wide variety of different people. So basically, how the story goes is he ended up paying about $300 million or some large number similar to that. And he bought Big Machine. Big Machine is the record label that Taylor used to be signed with. Now she's signed with a place called Republic Records or something like that. Well, basically, she got pissed off, took to social media, and basically threw him under the bus. And he's been receiving death threats because she's saying, well, like, it's really fucked up that, like, I should have the rights to all my songs, like, royalties. I should be getting paid for all the songs and shit like that. And because she signed this contract a really long time ago when she was first being signed to the company, I guess the contract said something along the lines of, well, they get all of the rights to the old songs and the albums. Like currently she has the rights to her new stuff because she moved to a different record label, but her old stuff doesn't, and they were trying to have her be in like a 10-year contract where for every like new album she put out or something like that, she get the rights to like an old one, or I don't know, it's kind of confusing. But personally, like, and this is like my own idea on it, as like fucked up as it is for someone to have like written their own music, to not get their rights to it. At the same time, you signed this contract. He bought out this company. And I don't think he bought it to spite her or anything. I think really he just thought of it as a good business move because a lot of his clients happen to be um, in country music, and they also happen to be in Big Machine, so he probably just thought it was a good business move to be like the overarching manager slash person running this record label who most of his talent's on anyways. That's what I think is the thing. But it seems like he's being unfairly abused by a lot of her fans, or like some of her friends who are also celebrities, like being made out to be this bad guy when really at the end of the day it's just business. And this is very similar to a situation that had happened. If any of our viewers watch Fortnite, so basically there was this guy named Tifu, and Tifu happens to be one of the best Fortnite players ever. I would say that Ninja is probably around his level, maybe a little bit better. But what had happened was a long time ago, like maybe a year or two ago, Tifu was signed with FaZe Clan. So FaZe Clan is an e-gaming sports clan, and they do a lot of different competitions. They're really good at what they do, but Tifu had signed a contract when he first started into gaming, and he was basically similar to what Taylor Swift is doing, throwing them under the bus and saying, "Oh, well, this contract's so fucked up. Like, if only I could tell you guys what's in this contract." And like, what's similar to both is we don't know exactly what's in these contracts, so we have no way to know that. I'll be the first one to say that I don't know the legalities of this type of stuff, so I don't completely
well,
understand those sides. But what's similar to that is like Tifu signed a contract. You should have had either a parent or you should have had someone who was an actual lawyer like tell you this is exactly what's going to happen. It's your fault for signing the contracts. If you didn't like the stuff in the contract, maybe you should have read it.
Yeah, if you didn't like it, you should read the contract. But if either one of them wanted, if they wanted to come together and get this all in the clear, they could agree to open that contract up and make it public. Because even if the contract is private, if both parties agreed to allow for disclosure, I do believe they could disclose the contract. But this really just sounds like more insane Taylor stuff, because Taylor Swift has been known for being a little crazy when it comes to her social media, her professional life, and all that shit. Ever since she went pop, she's been getting progressively crazier. Even her music, which actually works better as punk songs, which is weird. Oh, and since we are talking about Taylor Swift, I almost forgot to mention. Hey guys, this podcast is not for kids. Get the fuck out of here. Uh,
Yeah. And the thing is, I like a decent amount of like Taylor's songs, but the main issue at hand is that it just doesn't make sense to blame like the big man who bought your company. Like at that point, you sold your rights away. Like, yeah, you probably think it's unfair, but you don't own the company. And as like an independent artist, like you lose a lot of your rights signing with a record deal to begin with. So that should be expected.
it is expected.
Like
Also,
you didn't produce the song, they did.
yeah, they did, and a lot of times, a lot of those songs actually aren't even written by the artist. Also, there was this whole thing with Taylor Swift. She's all these stories. I forget about what the stories were saying, but all these ex-boyfriends that she had in the professional world, and those parodies of the Key of Awesome. If I don't know if you ever watched Key of Awesome's parodies or
Yes,
Taylor
I have.
Swift songs. My God, this entire situation makes me think those parodies might be a little more than parody at this point.
I had heard, I do know that Taylor Swift has been in a bunch of controversy over the years, which is why, I guess it all started with the whole Kanye West situation. I don't know completely all the details to that, but she was considered a snake to a lot of people because of this whole situation. And I'm not going to be here and say Kanye West is a great person. I don't personally think he is. But at the same time, I don't think Taylor is either.
Oh no, neither one of them are great people. I mean, Kanye West though did just actually become a Christian of all things and has gone full Jesus freak on everyone else. But I don't pay attention much to the pop world, to be quite honest. I'm more into politics and gaming and stuff. But from the few things I've seen go happen with Taylor Swift, I'm not surprised that she went crazy over someone buying a record label. She is a very entitled diva type personality.
And I think what people don't realize is at the end of the day, I don't really think that. I think to an extent this is a money issue, but I think that at the same time it's not. Because what people do not realize is Taylor Swift makes significantly more money than your average talent manager ever would. He probably just bought it because he wanted, to keep his connections close, especially if a lot of his clients are, you know, what's the word called? I'm having a brain
A
fart.
lot of his clients are artists signed with the label.
Yeah. So I think it was just a decent business move. I don't think this like is a cash grab
He
or.
wasn't doing anything about Taylor. Taylor's the one making this about her. And she's the self centered one. What happened was she is such an entitled diva that she believed that she should have a say in anyone who any bought anything to do with the old rights to her music that she doesn't have the rights to at all. Uh, Seriously, she has no legal standing in this whole thing, so whining about it is not going to get you anywhere. And having your fans send death threats against this guy, I don't know if she's actually encouraging it, but that's the danger of having a toxic fan base who are so fanatical. That's actually where the term fan comes from. I don't ever want to have a fan base that's going to go out and threaten people's lives if someone comes against me. Shit. One time I made a video against this gal named Monica Punk who said she wouldn't do ever get a job. Well, someone a few days later went on my wiki for my book series that I was writing at the time, though I no longer really go on that wiki a lot. They had created mm, changed one of my pages to say fuck the N word for African Americans, and then on that page they had a bunch of gross out stuff, and they gift the video of ISIS cutting off someone's head, and I had to go through and I had to fix that, and I had to do that multiple times.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, toxic fans aren't just toxic to you; they can be toxic to other people.
And what is like sickening to think about is that like somehow I think what he was saying was that his wife ended up getting a voicemail on their home phone. I have no idea how these fans would even get that kind of information and are
Doxing.
sending death threats. That's like,
They probably found out who this guy was and doxed him, because believe
yeah,
me, those purchase records of who owns those public companies are public knowledge.
right.
Not all the terms, but who owns them is public knowledge, because it is a most of the companies are publicly traded in the stock market.
I mean, I like to a degree believe that like, at the end of the day, people should have the rights to their music, but also at the end of the day, if you want the rights to all your songs and you want to do things your way, be similar to the rapper Iggy Azalea. She does not have any record label that she's signed to. She basically is a one man team. She might have a manager or something like that, but she helps to pay for like all of the setup for all of her music videos. She writes her own songs, yada yada. Her views, I believe, are still doing pretty good when it comes to her music. So you can go that route, but just know that when you're with a record company and you sign these deals, that like there is a chance that you will lose a decent amount of rights if you're wanting to get fame that way, which people don't realize.
Oh yeah, there is a decent possibility of that. That's not even in question. But yeah, seriously, people, if you're gonna go sign up to be famous, read the damn contract. I have the same feeling on this I have on people who whine about paying back the student loans. You signed up for it. You should have read the details.
I just found out, being on YouTube for as long as I have, what an NDA is, and that's like fucked up to think about.
NDA, I don't know what that is. I've never dealt with that.
An NDA, and this is like mostly for our viewers,
Oh,
something that
non
you,
disclosure agreement.
yes. So why that is important is, especially in Los Angeles, basically in Los Angeles, people, like, your circle is a lot smaller than you think it is. There's a lot of people that live in Los Angeles, but everyone kind of knows each other. Well, with people having big mouths and drama happening and yada yada, people sign NDAs because if you do something or screw someone or whatever, you sign an NDA before you do that so that if things go south, they cannot legally say any trash talk about you.
Yeah, it's essentially legally destroy. It's legally forbidding a rumor mill, but all that
Yeah,
stuff still
so
leaks out, anyways. So there's an argument being made about how useless NDAs are, unless they are for like something with the government.
well, the I think the whole gist of the NDA is like, I mean, other people can probably say something, but legally the person who signed the NDA, they cannot say anything or else they can be sued.
Typically, NDAs in those sorts of situations, though, are actually both do actually go both ways.
I mean, from people that I've heard sign NDAs, like, they take it pretty seriously from what I can tell.
Oh yeah, they do.
Like, you don't hear anything that happens. People have to be really vague about it. They're like, "Oh, well, I had to sign an NDA this one time at this one place." Like,
Shit, when I went to work for another company other than the company that me and Crystal work for now, when I left that company the first time, I actually had to sign a non-disclosure agreement for working for them, even though I wasn't privy to any of the stuff we couldn't disclose. They just made everyone sign one.
Oh wow.
It was kind of stupid. But on the subject of non-disclosure agreements, kind of trying to go into the next thing, I would actually kind of like talk about because I think we're kind of hitting a wall with this Taylor Swift thing. Other than
Yeah.
circling around the same issues here, is I found out probably beginning of the week that uh, sometime last week, beginning of this week, I found out that COPPA was a thing here on YouTube and that the FTC would be trying to go after creators and suing us for directing things at children. Turns out these people who informed me of this through their videos are fear mongering. Seriously, they are fear mongering, and the FTC doesn't even have a case against creators because the entire COPPA law is based on information gathering. And there was actually an anonymous YouTube employee that came out and said that YouTube was giving the option to give us a general audience setting instead of a just for adults or just for kids setting, but they didn't want to because they didn't want to require everyone to be logged in to watch videos on YouTube because they wanted to get that guest revenue from those ads.
What about the video that like YouTube themselves made saying like all the features that are gonna be lost and shit? I think that's still a thing.
That's only for the 4Kids videos.
So you're saying that people can say for the most part that they're not for kids and that'll be fine?
Especially if they're a general audience, because the law does not. And tell to the audience, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm required to say that so you guys can't come after me if you decide to act on this and you screw it up. You're on your own. We're just giving our opinions on this show. I'm legally required to say all that shit. Anyways, the law is about privacy. It's about collecting data, verifiable data on the age on people who you can verify are under 13 years of age. My audience on this channel is between 18 and 34. Somewhere in there is what the analytics tell me. Now, they wanted to say like all these different channels were going to get hit by COPPA violations, but that they only violate it if they collect data. And a bunch of YouTubers like Creekcraft have been going off to tell and actually meeting with the commissioners of the FTC, telling them we don't have access or control of this data, and they're looking into what we can do. But they did actually release a press release a little while back, going into the whole situation, and they was telling YouTube creators what channel owners about your content being made for children. Now here's what they're using to consider whether or not your content is child directed. The subject matter, what you're talking about. So we're talking about Taylor Swift. A lot of people like Taylor Swift. They might think this video is for kids. Visual content. Oh, we have SpongeBob on the thumbnail. People might think it's for kids. Since it's an animated character, since it also says the use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives, the kind of music or other audio content, the age of models, the presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the site, whether advertising promotes or appears on the site is directed to children, and competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. So if I don't know who my audience is, COPPA doesn't apply. And those are mix and match. No one of them is going to get you flagged. But it also says that there are examples like an online dress-up game that was definitely for kids. There have been several channels that said that they were for kids, and those are the guys who are going to get hit. But these people want to get views, so they go and they decide to make a bunch of videos saying, panic, everyone panic, run for the hills because everything's going to happen. You're going to get fined, and your channel's going to get deleted because it's not commercially viable, even though that is not what the new terms of service says.
See, I think, like, when I was talking to a couple people So if I personally, for the viewers like wondering, I do have a channel, and to give you guys an idea, my channel is mostly women based that watch them, and mostly between the ages of 20 years old to probably like 45. And these are women who most of my videos are unboxing subscription boxes. So they're not young people that are watching my stuff. While even some of them are like freak the fuck out. Like this one lady who is on the older side, she's probably between the age of like 40 or 50. She has a decent amount of subscribers, and she makes DIY videos of like going to Dollar Tree or whatever and making crafts and stuff. She has chosen on Instagram to say that she's not going to be posting on YouTube anymore because she says, and she probably had the fear mongering in her, that she does not want to be fined lots of money.
And the fine is based on how much money you made off of YouTube, your financial ability to pay that fine, what you're actually able to get together to pay the fine, and other such things. And really, if you, what I found out, and I wish, where the hell did I put that? Under COPPA, I have. Okay, Chad. Apparently, a lot of this fear mongering started with Chad Tronic posting a insanely edited version of the press conference with the FTC showing us as fish in a barrel. But really, what they're talking about is these ABC 123 kids sites, like the ones who are like, "Hey, we're here for you to let your toddler watch us, so you don't have to watch them." Those kind of people are the ones that are going to be getting hit. DIY about going to Dollar General, that's general audience stuff. It falls under general audience exception. And that's the problem is I deleted over 200 videos on YouTube out of fear of what's going on. A lot of those videos I had privated anyways, and I really didn't care about anymore. And the other ones I had backed up so I can re-upload them at any time. I'm going to add disclaimers to try to negate any question of who I intend my audience to be and who I'm directing it towards. But this fear-mongering really drives me nuts. I actually made a made a video about it yesterday, which got uploaded today, and on the front I've got Marvin, the manically depressed robot, pointing to "Don't Panic" as the thumbnail, because hey, don't panic, it's not as bad as you think. Because they do say read pages 10 to 14 of the complaint. And what's important for people to remember is the settlement was not made by a judge. No judge was involved. It was an arbitrated settlement between the FTC and YouTube, because YouTube did break the law, and they weren't even following their own terms of service on this one. And if YouTube hadn't had all that internal activity saying, "Hey, yeah, let's go after people under 13," they wouldn't have had any case against them, which is probably why they didn't go to court, because the FTC probably knew they couldn't make it stick, which is why I'm not too worried. And the $42,530 fine, even the FTC says that is a maximum penalty based on the size of the company and your ability to pay. So, well, YouTube's going to get fined $170 million, and let's say, I don't know, PewDiePie, who makes millions, he might get the $42,530 violation. You might get $100. It all depends on how much money you make and how egregious your violation was. Egregious meaning how bad your violation was, for those of you who don't know what egregious means.
So then, a person who makes like not even $100 a month, I would presume that they get barely anything for a fine.
Exactly, and they would have to be actually going after kids. What the FTC is going after in this complaint are people who are explicitly targeting children under the age of 13, and have admitted so in their channel descriptions and in how they marketed themselves.
So then most people are going to be forced to make and say their channel's not for kids, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Add a disclaimer to the front of your video. That should help you. It won't stop the FTC from suing your ass, but it will help you in court to prove that you're not directing it at children, because you did put the disclaimer. So if the FTC decides to be assholes, you make the case even weaker than it already is. And as you're not an operator of the site, it's already going to be insanely difficult for the FTC to bring any sort of fine against you. And for those of you who do not live in the U.S. that watch this, in the United States, in order to get fined, there is always a court proceeding in it. Even when you get traffic tickets, you do have a date you can go to traffic court to fight the ticket. So in America, you cannot just get fined by the government without a judge signing off on the fine for you to have to pay it. A company can because they entered into an agreement with the government, but anything outside that agreement that includes some fines, like they went against this agreement and it was built into a contract with the government, anything beyond that requires a lawsuit by the government against you. And you need to be worth the resources they're going to expend on suing your ass. So your older friend could probably still make videos and be just fine.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, tell her not to listen to these fearmongers. There's no reason to panic. Keep making the YouTube. Just don't have any children in it. Don't make it explicitly for kids, and anything that you think is going to be really child friendly. Don't make it not child friendly. Don't do nothing but really adult mature content. But at the same time, don't make it to where a 5-year-old is going to be interested in this stuff.
What do you think, Crystal?
I don't know.
Hello?
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 Okay. Chris just said I don't know, and the background noise that was coming from her kind of dropped out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we confusing you?
Yeah.
Do we have any viewers?
You?
I'm not a viewer.
You're not watching?
No.
Are you watching, Crystal?
Nope.
So we have one viewer. It says concurrent views 1.
Then that's good. Whoever you are, either make yourself known or not, but we appreciate you watching our content.
Yes, we do. You mind leaving a comment so we know it's not something to do with YouTube's live preview to me telling me that I'm the one watching.
But yeah, this sucks with all this legal shit. Confusing the hell out of everyone.
Oh yeah, I hate fearmongers. They freaking... Fearmongers ruin everything. Seriously. They make people like me think, oh no, I need to run for the hills and worry about this and that and another thing. But here's the thing. I thought I needed to worry. I don't actually need to worry so much.
Yep.
There's gonna always be a disclaimer in all the videos from now on over here on the channel.
Yes, we are not for kids, and anyone below the age of 13 or 13, don't watch our shit.
Yeah. Someone typing?
I'm not.
Sorry. My alarm clock.
Your alarm clock? That's you pressing your alarm clock button.
Oh yeah, because the power went out some reason. So I gotta reset my our alarm clock.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do it as quiet as I can, but it's not going to work.
On most alarm clocks, you can hold the button down.
Oh, this one is like 20-some years old.
So you have to click it for every minute?
Yes.
Oh my lord, that sounds annoying. A 20-year-old alarm clock. Okay.
And it still works.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the alarm clock I've had since, I think, the 6th grade.
I had to give up my Bugs Bunny alarm clock. Time to rise and shine, Doc.
You had to give
That
it
got
up.
annoying. Yeah, I had to give that one up.
Ah.
But anywho, okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with this whole legal stuff. To those of you who might wonder what's going on with COPPA, if you go over to my other video on my channel, it's not the end. COPPA isn't what you think. Don't panic. I do have a bunch of links on that video to the FTC website's FAQ, the press release, the original, the press conference, and several people who are telling you not to panic, including Hogue Law's video about it in the description of that particular video. So, yeah. But people, remember, this is a prime example of why your teacher always told you to do your own research and confirm your sources. Because if you read the actual context, you realize that that's not saying what they want you to say. And on the thing with context, another thing we can do here, because we kind of need to pad this out a little bit more, I got one other thing we can do and go over here, and I kind of want to get your input on what you think this might mean, because I'm pretty sure I've got this correct. Now, under the new terms of service, there is now a section, termination by YouTube for service changes. It says YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Now, does that sound to you like it's saying your channel is no longer commercially viable, or just the service is no longer commercially viable? I mean, it does say provision of the service to you. What do you think, Laura?
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, a lot of people are taking this to mean that they're going to shut down your channel if they think that it's no longer commercially viable, as in it's not making them any money. But if you read the terms of service, it says that provision of the service to you, which to me says if if giving you the ability to post on YouTube is no longer commercially viable for them, I mean, or letting live streaming be a thing, they can remove it. Like Netflix saying, we're no longer commercially viable, we're shutting down. That's how I interpret this. It doesn't say anything about your account being terminated or your channel getting deleted. It says terminate your access, but, you know, wouldn't terminating the service also be terminating your access? At least I think that's how that should go. But those fearmongers want you to think that this means that your channel's going to get deleted next month. Oh,
What, my YouTube channel's getting deleted next month?
it's not. But the fearmongers want you to think it's going to be. Because they omit that provision of service portion. They just go, say, YouTube may terminate your access, and no longer commercially viable is all they focus on. They completely omit everything in between that gives it context and tells you, hey, you're actually okay. Anyone else got any ideas on this one?
Um,
Still there, Laura?
Mhm.
nope.
Okay, I'm out of ideas. I was just about to do more prep for this show, but then Laura wanted to start early. I really need to prep more than just the day of. And I'm also going to be working on a video here about why the holidays are a pain in the ass. But anyways, anyone else want to talk about anything else in this episode, or do you guys want to just call this a short show?
I don't have nothing to say.
Laura?
Um, what topics have you been seeing in the news?
Not a whole lot. I don't really watch the news.
You watch it like more than a decent amount of people.
I mean, Congress is getting ready to help weed get legalized.
I'd go to that.
Here, hang on. I posted this like 3 weeks ago. I can only read so much of it though. Okay, where is it? It says new Indiana laws set to effect on Monday. Hemp is happening in Indiana. One new law will open. That's as far as it goes. And that was on October 5th.
Well, I wasn't talking about Indiana. I was talking about the federal government.
I'm just saying, he's talking about marijuana shit. So Indiana's setting effect on Monday.
I have to look more into that. But I was more talking about the federal government actually voted on a thing on, it was either this past Wednesday or last Wednesday, to decriminalize and deschedule hemp and weed on a federal level, which would free up the states to make their own laws.
Hmm.
Who knows? Maybe all this national debt is getting them desperate for the precious weed tax money, since they saw how much money Colorado got.
I don't know, but you know how work's gonna go. As soon as it fucking passes, they'll be drug testing everyone at work.
Drug tests, and more drug tests.
Oh well. At least I'll pass mine.
I'll pass mine.
I don't know, that fucking month ago or so, I was freaking the fuck out. But other than that, I passed my drug test a month or so ago, and I smoked a bowl before I came to work, or Sunday night. And then, oh, hey, you got chosen to take a drug test today. Okay. Freaking the fuck out. Next day, I asked my supervisor, hey, did I pass my drug test? Yeah, you did. I'm like, sweet.
Oh, it says they have harvested the first legal hemp in like 20 years.
Yeah, I didn't read into it. I just seen something about Monday and shit, so I was like, sweet, I'll post it.
But yeah, I can't find much about that. But I did find that the federal government was looking at legalizing. And hemp being illegal is bullshit, anyways. Everything should be legal, guys, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. You should be allowed to get stoned, hammered, shit faced, whatever you want, as long as you don't hurt anyone else or cause anyone else any financial or physical harm. That's my view on it, anyways.
I just get the munchies.
And I apparently become very entertaining.
I get the damn munchies when I smoke. And I laugh and I stare off into space.
Ah,
That's about it.
as long as it's not like that time you told me about the shrooms and the dancing worm.
No, that was a long time ago. I won't ever fucking do that again.
When you told me about that, I couldn't help but think of the WB frog, and I know you don't know what that is, but some of my viewers might. where it's the frog with the hat on the WB that goes, "Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my old time gal. Honey, you kissed my wife. Baby, my heart's on
Well,
fire."
I don't know that fucking them shrooms are god. Oh fuck, fucks you up. I seen a fucking earthworm with a fucking top hat with a cane dancing. I swear, I'll never do that again. He wasn't singing. He was just fucking dancing around.
That'd be funny if you were singing. Granted, seeing that was under the influence of drugs was probably a little creepy, but you gotta admit that is kind of funny thinking back on it. Dancing with the one
Well, one of my buddies ate shrooms and seen a purple dinosaur when he
while
was driving
driving.
down the road.
Yeah, while
While
driving.
driving.
Yeah.
And swerved in the fucking road.
Good thing there was no oncoming traffic.
Nope. We was on a back road, I think. If I remember right. This a long time ago.
Yeah.
This was probably when I was in fucking high school.
Yeah, to our audience, these are lessons of why you shouldn't drive under the influence of anything.
Yeah, you see purple dinosaurs, and you'll see an earthworm dancing with a top hat on with a cane.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school named McCaddy, and he said when he was on shrooms, he would take the battery out of his phone and lock himself in a room whenever he decided to do shrooms, just so that he didn't wander too far and freak himself out too much.
Yeah, I won't do that shit anymore. So don't do shrooms unless you want to fucking see shit that you don't want to see.
Yeah, don't do shrooms. People saying psychedelics to expand your mind are full of shit. But that's about all I got.
Yeah, same here.
You got anything else, Laura?
Nope, not at the moment.
Okay, well, I guess that's going to be it for us then today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this later on. Patreon is down in the description box below. I've also set up a subscribe star. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully next week will be a little better and we can actually plan ahead on the time and whatnot. And you can still go over to Six Wing Gaming to watch my gaming content and to Laura Quintin's channel to watch her content. And we'll see what happens with this later on.
And you can look me up on Facebook.
If you want to look up Crystal on Facebook, that's up to between you and her. No one knows who I am. So we'll see you guys next time.
Go for it.
This Six Wing Productions signing off.
Peace.